They're called the most dangerous 8 seconds in sports for a reason.
It started off fine until it got bad, and then bad became worse.
Prosper High School sophomore Bucky McAlpine splits the time in his busy schedule between a rigorous course load, 2 jobs, and national-level hockey practice. And while that's nothing out of the ordinary, add in bull riding, and Bucky sets himself apart from the typical teenager. In Montana until 2010, when his family moved to Texas to further his older sister's gymnastics career. Bucky, also an avid gymnast, competed at the local, state, and national levels multiple times. Just 6 years later, Bucky would find himself trading unitards and chalk for cowboy boots and flannels. In 2016, Bucky retired from gymnastics to shift his focus onto bull riding, a sport he quotes as a constant battle between life and death, until the afternoon of December 10th, 2017, when he almost lost that battle.
It started off like any other Sunday. Me and my dad had to take a 3-hour drive up to Oklahoma, get on 2 or 3 practice bowls.
Bucky grew up in Montana until 2010, when his family moved to Texas to further his older sister's gymnastics career. Bucky, also an avid gymnast, competed at the local, state, and national levels multiple times.
I rode it for 1 turn.
Just 6 years later, Bucky would find himself trading unitards and chalk for cowboy boots and flannels. In 2016, Bucky retired from gymnastics to shift his focus away bull riding, broken ribs, and a punctured wound, and as a constant battle to a hospital when his sister Cassidy got the call with the bad news.
So I was at my little brother's hockey game, and at the time my dad, he was in Houston, and he calls me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Well, why wouldn't I be?" So then I called my mom. I was like, "So what's happening?" And she was like, "Well, right now we're going to the hospital. They think they're gonna have to put a breathing tube in." Shortly after, he started bleeding internally, and so then obviously that's a problem. So then later that night he was rushed to surgery because he had to get his spleen taken out. So it was kind of scary because we didn't know if he was going to make it.
I was in ICU. The first time the doctor came in, he was talking to me about all my injuries, and then I stopped him like halfway through what he was listing my injuries off. The day after, I was ready to get back on again and just keep going.
And after a few months of recovery, Bucky finally got that chance. This past Sunday, he traveled back up to Oklahoma, the site of the accident, to return to the sport he loves. For Eagle Nation News, I'm Jake Fine.